Oh, that looked like a pretty good bowl right there, didn't it? Yeah, nice spot. That no call. Definitely. What's up, y'all? Elite Series Pro Matt Arey here, and I want to go over a technique. I'm going to go over my whole setup with you on how to catch some of those finicky fall schooling fish that we've all seen on these, especially the southern lakes around here in the Carolinas. They're feeding on those little bitty tiny threadfin. They drive you absolutely nuts because they're blowing bait out of the water everywhere, and you just can't get them to bite. This is a technique and a setup that I've used over the years to catch a lot of those finicky schooling fish. What you'll see in my hand here is just a 1/0 straight shank hook. Okay, sometimes I'll go to a 2 depending on the size of the lure that I'm using or the size of the bait, soft plastic I'm actually putting on there, on the business end, what we call. What you see wrapped around the shank of the hook there is actually lead wire. And let me explain why I do that. Let me show it to you first. It comes on a little spool like this right here. You can buy it in fly shops, some arts and crafts stores carry it, things like that, but it's just lead wire. And the reason I take it and I wrap it around the shank of the hook like so is I want to add just enough weight to that shank of that hook to where it makes it where I can cast it a little bit further and it wakes right underneath the surface with the bait that I have on there. The other thing that it acts as is a keeper. So if you'll see the bait here, this is one of my favorite little go-to baits this time of year. It's a little Lunker Hunt swim bento, okay? And I'll take it and I'll thread it. I'll start in the nose there and I'll go all the way down through the back and come out perfectly here because I'm pretty picky about how I rig my baits, as is everybody. And you just slide it up on there just like so, pull it all the way up over the eye of the hook there, and you'll see you've got it rigged with the hook exposed, okay? And what that lead wire acts as is it actually acts as a keeper to hold that bait in place too. And the Lunker Hunt swim bentos, I like them because they're pretty tough. They're really tough soft plastic. What that does is when I make a cast with that bait, it allows me to cast it a little bit further, like I said, but it gives it just enough weight to where I can wake it under the surface. What you're trying to imitate is one of those little tiny threadfin that gets separated from that school. We've all seen it, and he's waking across the surface, and all of a sudden you see one come up and slurp him down, okay? That's what we're trying to imitate with this technique. It's great for those small swim baits, those little 2.5 to 3 inch style baits. I've even used different types of crappie jig, like little slider grubs. I've got one right here, things like that. You know, I'll kind of vary my bait selection based on how aggressive they act towards that specific style bait or specific color. Setup, 6-pound line, that is key, okay? I'm using 6-pound P-line Fluoroclear, okay? It's a coated copolymer line. Castability is unbelievable with that line. It is a 7-foot loose medium action spinning rod. I like a 7-foot. Sometimes I even go to a 7.2. The longer rod seems to give me a little bit more distance when I'm casting these little bitty tiny baits like that. It's a loose Custom Pro spinning reel, and like I said, 6-pound P-line Fluoroclear. I've even gone to 4 sometimes, depending on the size of the bait. You know, you're braver than I am if you can use 4 most of the time. With some people probably looking at me like, you know, you're crazy just for using 6, because there's some big fish that feed on little tiny baits in the fall, and this is definitely one of my go-to techniques that'll help you catch more of those fickle schooling fish in the fall.